We each contain multitudes, not just the parts we're proud of, the healer, the teacher, the mystic, but the gambler, the trickster, the tyrant. Every archetype that has ever moved through human experience lives somewhere in you, in me, in all of us. And the shadow isn't the enemy. The light isn't the destination. The middle path, where you can hold the full range with compassionate awareness, that's where we actually get to know ourselves. I'm Kelly, a mystic, a scribe, and many other archetypes besides. And the devotion of my life is looking into this divine mirror of archetypes with full honesty and reflecting that compassion outward. Each video in this series takes one archetype from the Oracle by Carolyn Myss and opens it along three threads: the shadow or the low road we've walked, the light, the high road we're seeking or reaching for, and the middle path, the one that can hold both and carry us forward while we carry it along the path of self-mastery. This is the fullness of what it means to be human. This is the archetypal attunement. Hello and welcome to this archetypal attunement of the Exorcist. I'm going to give a fair warning and say that this is likely going to become an R-rated video. I generally don't steer away from swearing and things like that, but I will likely be talking about sexually explicit and graphic things in this video because that's what I have to contribute. So otherwise, jumping right in to the light attribute, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses, and the shadow attribute being fear of facing your own demons. The reason I gave that R-rated warning is because I'm going to share some bits about myself today during this video of a nature of sexual kink, if you will. There's a lot of things I've learned about myself, a lot of things I've healed within myself, a lot of things I've freed myself from through diving into the shadow, into the depths, and facing my own demons, if you will. And a lot of this is shame. The biggest demon is shame. And I've been exercising for a long time now the demon of shame, which lives in many, many places, especially in the natural world. And this sexual nature I'm talking about is so natural. But if you're trapped by it, you are trapped by it. And it is destructive because the animal doesn't consider ongoing civilization. It doesn't consider right relationship. It's not conscious. It traps you in the animal if you don't do that. And we need to exercise the demon of compulsion, or the one that is unconscious, the demon of unconsciousness from this. So first things first, I'm going to shuffle out for the middle path. Let's see what deck wants to be used here. Is that it? Yes. We're going to go with the Under the Oak. So let's get a middle path. How do we balance the shadow of facing that fear with the light road freeing ourselves? How do we get there? Because you can't jump from one to the other. King of Swords. Yes, clarity and discernment, owning your choices. Let me chant it because that feels like, something you would do with an exorcist thing. And I just also love chanting. And this is Odin. And was there something that he recited at Yggdrasil, the tree, or whatever? I'm not going to try to bastardize the mythology that I don't know fully. What I can say and will say about King of Swords reversed, this is not the external expression of I have clarity. It's the internal knowing. I know what my integrity is. I know what is true for me. I know what is demon and what is not. Because here's the thing. Our mind can either be a tool that we use as the soul, or it can be the easiest first thing that a demon takes over and possesses to obsess you with, compulsively doing things. Swords is about a mental energy, and the King of Swords, there is no, this is the highest it gets in this suit. The king is it. That's where we end. That's where all things end and lie. And these are like the omens, the divinity. This is linking to the shamanistic nature of like trusting the natural world around us because it is animal. And that means that the animal in us is not wrong or bad or evil. And this is why I mentioned the sexuality and the kink, because like I have animal instincts that want to feel and receive love and nurture in certain ways, especially because I was wounded where I didn't receive love and nurture in certain ways. And so now in a sexual way, I want to feel, my animal wants to feel in my base chakras, in my base places, in the roots of me, in the most animalistic areas of me, the safety that I never got to have, the love and the tenderness and the presence that I never got to have in those ways. I want to experience that now. And that is not wrong or bad. But seeking out daddy kinks in people who aren't really good at providing or being a daddy. And I'm sorry if this rubs you the wrong way or is weird, but I gave the warning, so that's the last apology I'll give. That's not good. It's not good for me. It's not good for anyone. But I went that road. I faced my own demons and I met myself there. And it made me find compassion and clarity and trust in myself, that I can go and face my demons and come out on the other end knowing myself more deeply. And that's hard work. Not just any asshole can perform an exorcist, though. You know, not just any person can go and just start trying to exorcise a demon. That requires like somebody who knows the depths because they've traveled them. Somebody who understands the animal and the demonic because they see that in themselves and they've been there. I am that. I don't know about you, but I've been there. I've done that. I do that. This is who I am. And I don't need to call it an exorcist. I don't need to call it anything. It is that I do face and I see myself. Was this saying destruction? Yeah, destructive impulses. The last archetype that I just recorded was the destroyer. And so this is excellent, the run through here, because destruction is necessary. But the impulse part, you know what I mean? And I even, in that archetype card, it was talking about the pulsation, like the electromagnetic pulsation that makes a volcano erupt, the tectonic plates shifting. Freeing yourself from the destructive impulse because you also have conscious choice. You're not just moved by your animal nature. You're not only moved by, the base thing. You also use discernment and conscious choice on top of that. Whereas the shadow, the shadow of the animal is just going with the instinct and not considering it at all. That's why the King of Swords is the middle path, because this is consideration. But it's not consideration of everyone else's thoughts, wants, needs, and desires, or considerations for what is appropriate. It's the internal measure of knowing what the actual real integrity to yourself and your right relationship is. King of Swords. And anything that doesn't fit that for you is what would want to be exercised, what would want to be brought to the light. But it doesn't matter what anybody else wants, which is why it's internal, which is why it's reversed. It's not about what the Catholic Church decides is good and pure and moral, or what any other religion or any other dogma decides is right. It's you. It's your own internal compass. How about the low road, though? What's the low road of the exorcist? Fear of facing your own demons. Give me some more. How does that show up in us as everyday humans, as people who aren't performing exorcisms, but are living human lives? Low road being temperance and the Two of Wands. And Two of Wands is reversed. It's inward. I'm going to turn this up right just so I can see them together for a minute. Oh, I love this. I have a tattoo that's very similar to this. It's a girl and a bear walking arm in arm towards the moon. And I can't not feel that energy in this because it's like we're in this together, whatever it is. At the low road of this, though, it's not. There is no togetherness. And temperance at the low road is like two competing things instead of balance. Because low road of the Exorcist, has no respect for the right relationships of all things belong. Like, we are all part of this, including the demonic, the bad, the negative, the whatever. And it would seek to eradicate it. I am better than you. You can't exist because I am the representation of God or whatever. And you, the demon, the Satan, the bad, should be banished. Well, why do you get to decide? Why does your ego get to decide what's good and what's bad and what doesn't belong? Temperance and the Two of Wands here at the low road is talking about the banishing of things that you aren't able to integrate. They're holding hands. They're holding the same divine spark. But if all of this is in the low road, we can't hold both. The shadow attribute then is like not having the capacity to hold the negative parts of ourselves. Not having the capacity to hold the wild and the animalistic and the not so kind and the not so polite and the doesn't really show up in the way that other people would like to have you mild and tempered as, right? It's not the like kind, cuddly, the grizzly bear. We can't integrate the grizzly bear because we only want the teddy bear. That's the shadow attribute of the Exorcist. We want to banish or demonize everything that somebody, this kind of reminds me of like the God Almighty and the biblical sense of like what it determines is just and everything else is banished to hell. That's bullshit. There is no divine judgment on that level. And it's only what we decide. And if we can't face our own demons, then we banish them to being unseen and they just grow stronger. They just grow bigger. They just become more powerful in the darkness. And we can't even exorcise them because we can't look at them. So what's the high road? How do we embrace the high road? What is the human high road? Where did I put? There they are. What's the human high road of the Exorcist archetype? I really love this Under the Oak Tarot. It's super mystical, like fantasy world, and the colors are just so rich, and everything's just like takes you there. Ooh, 8 of Wands. Look at that. I want to start singing When You Wish Upon a Star. But also it feels so different because that horizon, I can't tell if the sun is sinking or setting. And it looks like there's almost like a cyclone, hurricane. And the way I'm seeing it, I know that this is a cliff, but it also looks like a whale because I'm like kind of far away from the card as I'm looking through the camera at it. It looks like they're standing on a whale in the ocean. And as I was saying, this mystical and this fantastical, the high road of the Exorcist is believing in the divinity of everything, but also in miracles. Believing in the rapid action of divine intervention. Trust in the magic. Because exorcisms are performed with like all sorts of incantations and sayings. And it's about like, as I speak, so it is. You're embracing the magician. So at the high road, this is like a beautiful, loving, divine, celestial, almost guided embrace of the magician archetype within. And I'm seeing all these different elements of the natural world that are coming in here because that's part of it. Again, this like kind of almost shamanic sense of connecting to the magic in all of the elements of all of the things and bearing witness. Because performing an exorcist, to me, would mean that you allow yourself to be the channel that the divine comes through, like these stars are shooting through, and you get to bear witness to what divinity can do in exorcising demons, enlightening. Again, is this sinking? Is it behind the clouds, or is it giving the clouds some warmth? Maybe it's even showing the clouds like, hey, you deserve to be illuminated too. You deserve to have some like sun shone on the shade, like the spirit that's trapped in the underworld forever. Why? Who trapped it there? Who decided it was less than worthy of heaven? I don't believe in that, God. Do you? And again, that's what links back to this middle path thing. It's your integrity that decides what's supposed to be banished or maybe just balanced. instead. Integrity. Is there anything else? I feel like this is so relevant to how these feathers and the turquoise right across that heart space there, because it's in right relationship with all beings, the winged ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the no-legged beings, the swimming ones, like in right relationship with all of the elements. Because truly then, nothing is a demon that you would banish. It's a demon that you would revere. It's a demon you would know not to mess with. Like in Japan, don't climb those mountains or that demon will get you. Like in any culture, all of the places where it's like they have respect for the demons they know that exist, or at least we used to. But then we stopped being capable of looking at them in ourselves, and we placed them far outside of ourselves, and we labeled it as other. And by labeling it as other, we fell out of right relationship. We fell so far out of right relationship with all of the demons that they started running the world. And this card, the middle path, is about burying them. It's a tombstone. It's about burying the demons, but not to banish them, to honor them, to give them an epitaph, to give them the funeral, the ritual, the ceremony, and the ability, the honor, the dignity of returning them back to the Earth Mother. Here, return to the Mother, because you've been missing from love for so long you turned dark. Go back to the Mother. Go back to the source of that darkness and feel the love and the embrace and the comfort of that. And remember that we are here together. The light and the dark, the big and the small, the animal and the human, and the everything else that emanates from the one divine spark. I need to say no more. That's it for this archetype. I feel like it's complete. I hope you appreciated this video. If you have anything to add, if you have experiences you'd like to share, if you'd like to contrast what I shared, I welcome all of that in the comments. If you like the video, please do like it. And if you have not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notifications so you can be notified when the next video comes out, because I am one by one working my way through this whole 80 card deck, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.